This flick was expected to be the first video game adaptation to lift the well-known disease that plagued these movies and establish a brand new franchise to build on in the fantasy cinema realm. Early critic reviews mostly bad, huge records in China, and I'm sitting here like a caveman witnessing his first lightning thinking, this must be a god or something. Let's check out the review. No spoilers whatsoever. Out of all the rich and table-flipping stories from the Warcraft universe, I must say, this one was the weakest, most predictable, and easily seen in previous fantasy movies. I understand they wanted to set the ground and let the world know how it all started, but honestly, this is a major reason for the bad critics' reviews. It's pretty basic, but it gets complicated when drawing further into character development. The Warcraft universe has some unique redemption stories, some headbanging political fantasy plots, and incredible goal-setting adventures, but they decided to probably use these in future screenings. It's a shame because I honestly think they should have gone full force with an absolute very best of what the game had story-wise. This combined with some different choices in casting could have possibly led to some Oscar material. When it comes to all the characters, you must understand it is quite hard to squeeze and compress in a 2-hour movie all that Warcraft the Beginning has to offer. That being said, it outlined an awesome righteous rebel in Durotan, one of the main orc characters, but left a weak development for Ogrim Doomhammer, a secondary orc character who in the game is ultra mega huge. Awesome job with Gul'dan. Duncan Jones delivered on creating a villain who you can hate but also understand kind of where he's coming from. Travis Fimmel was okayish in the role of Anduin Lothar, the main human character, and please, for the love of cavemen voting for woman equal rights, stop comparing this character to Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. They do not have the same motifs, they do not have the same journeys, nor will Lothar be ever portrayed as the all-saving and all-conscious human hero. Khadgar, which is the scholarship mage, was casted terribly. Ben Schnitzer's delivery being at the very most decent, but this rarely occurs. Dominic Cooper is a good actor, but his role in Lane Rin, the King of Stormwind, was too plastic, too superficial, and it really did not deliver as a wise and heroic king. Medivh, which is the guardian of the land and a very powerful and wise mage, was played quite good by Ben Foster. I actually found him believable and was immersed by his actions. Garona, who is the half-human, half-orc, and set to bridge out the relationship between the humans and orcs, had a too fast of a pacing in her character development and didn't really create any connection with her audience, Paula Patton not being the best choice here as an actor. It is clear to me they focused heavily on the orcs, and this shows as my favorite characters in the whole movie are Durotan and Gul'dan, both orcs, and I play Alliance by the way. Now, you must understand, CGI doesn't mean jack shit to me. As a movie fan, I will always prefer a good story, good scenery, and great characters prior to graphics. But this movie just absolutely blew me out of my chair CGI-wise and made me realize that today's technology can really improve on the overall quality of a movie. The magic spells were original and fresh, much superior to those seen in Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Harry Potter, or Game of Thrones. The landscapes and cities were amazing, although they had, a little too little of exposure time, I think. The orcs were realized state of the art, managing to deliver emotion to get you immersed to be believable and solid. The war scenes, the actual fighting was absolutely marvelous. Again, Duncan Jones laying down his magic touch. Warcraft the Beginning has its flaws, but I can definitely say this after watching it 3 times. Early critic reviews don't mean anything, and I, for one, have been convinced to ignore these 100% from now on. This movie should have been at least 3 hours to be able to go full circles with its characters and story. It has pacing issues, and it can get a bit chaotic. However, it's revolutionary to take both sides of this conflict and not portray only one hero. It's a breath of oxygen to see that orcs, who are traditionally beasts with no brain and emotion, being portrayed with an established culture, civilization, motif, and a lot of heart. Amazing visuals and scenery, and a couple of good characters evolving around a basic story makes this a fantasy film you must see. If you are not familiar at all with the game, the movie has enough for you to get an entertaining experience and make you want more. Hell, I went with people who didn't have a clue about the game and they loved it, asking when a sequel would be released. If you are a fan of the Warcraft universe, you will 100% love it to its bone. Easter eggs popping up all over the place and bringing justice to the franchise. Lay off all the original stories you know from the books and games, cause more than 50% of that is changed, but with good reason and proper replacement. Now, for me, as a movie fan, I'll give it 8 out of 10, and as a Warcraft fan, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Making it a final result of 8.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, share it with your friends. If not, that's absolutely fine. Any questions you have, throw them in the comments, I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you for watching.
War is coming.
So why are you here?
To save our people.